Hey guys, what's going on? So today we are doing a beginner guide for Dragalia Lost. It will be a pretty general guide because it is for beginners, but there are a few things I learned that I think will be helpful for people that are just starting. First of all, let's start with something very important, and that's your stamina and gather wings. Stamina does recover over time, but gather wings only recover when you level up. So if you're over the cap of gather wings, you don't need to worry about trying to spend them until you're reaching around 50, because I've noticed once I hit 50 and I leveled up, I wouldn't get any more. So 50 is the cap for gather wings. So once you're getting to, like, you know, 40, 42 or something, and you're getting close to leveling up, make sure to start spending them. And of course, you can spend those gather wings by doing co-op. Of course, finding a room spins them, but if you create your own, it just uses stamina. So you want to go to whatever event you want to do. This can also work in story mode. Pretty much everything has co-op. So let's say you need some gold or whatever. You go here, go there, and hit co-op. And make sure to do find a room, not create a room, because find a room will spin the wings, whereas create a room will just spin your stamina. Speaking of these events, you want to make sure you do all of them at least until you get the daily bonus done. So for Dragon Trials, do that 3 times, whichever scales you need, Avenue of Power twice, Avenue of Fortune twice, Elemental Ruins twice, because the daily bonus is quite powerful and you do get a lot of bonus there. Further speaking about events, as a general rule of thumb, you want to do the hardest you can. So for example, when you need some level up material for your team, if you can do expert, do expert. Make sure to check your overall team might every now and then. If you're like at 5,900 or whatever, do whatever it takes to get that extra bump in might, just to hit that 6,000 milestone so you can start doing the harder difficulties. It seems like on Sunday and Monday, you do have access to all of the different elemental ruins. However, you can't do harder than standard, which is kind of weird. So if you only have 4,000 or less might anyway, then this is a good time to get the orbs you need. And if you weren't aware, orbs are used mainly for 2 things, and that will be your mana circle. So to unbind, you see you need a lot of these orbs as well as these scales, which you can get from the Dragon Trials. Activating all the nodes you can here in the mana circle, of course, will help you get more might, as well as new adventurer stories. And even if you don't care about stories, you should always go and read them, because you do get extra wormite for reading each of their stories. As well as, of course, new skills, so mana circles are also quite important. Of course, focusing on any 5 stars you have, like I did with Ezolith there, as well as any other promising 4 stars. The second thing your orbs are mainly going to use for is here in the castle to upgrade these nodes here, the altars. You can see you start needing quite a few of them to level them up. I'm currently out of pretty much everything, so going to be farming some orbs today and raising those because they're quite nice. They give a permanent percent-based increase to all allies of the same element. So all my light guys currently get 2.5% extra HP and 2% strength. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it will add up eventually. Speaking about the castle, we can talk about that a little bit as well. Here, of course, you upgrade different buildings. Currently, I'm level 25. I have 3 of these ruby mines. Down here, we have the dragon tree, which gives us dragon fruit and these 5 nodes. I think as you level up, you will get more stuff. Obviously, we have unlocked a lot of space down here, so I would assume we'll get a lot more later on. But for now, that said, I did focus most heavily on the ruby mines because passive gold is always nice. Of course, everything I think is important here. We have the Smithy over here. Once you get that to level 4, which I have, you can start making 4-star weapons, so that's really nice. Over here we have the Halidome, which is quite hard to level up since you need a faculty level of 200. You get 1 level per upgrade you do here, so we're at level 105 right now. Everything we upgrade gives us 1 more faculty level. This doesn't do anything except expand the area which you can build and also allow the Smithy to go up higher in level. We could level the Smithy up again without having to level up the Halidome, but at a certain point we won't be able to and we'll need to level up the Halidome first. So as you can see, we're now building 3 things. You can have up to 5 of these builders. I went ahead and bought all 5 because I like to have them available, even though that's probably not super necessary. The 5th one does cost 700 wormite, so it is quite expensive. The ones previous don't cost as much. I would get at least 3, maybe a 4th one, but the 5th one I'm not sure is super necessary right now. I could easily utilize the other 2 I'm not using right now just by farming a few of these. But at a certain point they do start requiring a lot of materials, and I'm not sure if I could keep up with 5 builders, even though the time also does increase, and you know, they are kind of a permanent sort of upgrade and addition, so I don't regret getting all 5. I'm just not too sure if it's super important to get so early on. P.S. If you don't already have 5 builders, there will be a little plus icon next to their count there. Tap that and you have the option to buy more. We also have this section with the dragon. I'm kind of focusing on this fire one here. I have no 5-star dragons at the moment, and this is the one my Ezolith runs, so I'm focusing most on that. You do have a free bread you can give it every day. I usually buy all but the last one because that does kind of get expensive. I probably would invest in that last one if I did have a 5-star dragon, because I know, you know, I'm not really gonna be switching that out at any point. But this is just a 4-star, you know, I'm sure it's still good, but I don't want to invest so much into it right now in case I do eventually run into a 5-star dragon that I'd rather spend all my resources in instead. Upgrading the dragons there increases the shapeshift time, as well as them giving you some gifts in return. Also, never forget to do your free item summon. It says 100 here because I already did the first and the one for 50. I'm not sure if the 51 is really good value, but you know, it doesn't feel like so much Wormite. As far as the other items in the item shop go, I would say the only thing that's sort of worth it is the consecrated water, because as far as I'm aware, there's like almost no other way to upgrade your worm prints besides this water and using other worm prints, which aren't easy to come by, unlike weapons or getting experience. Gold is quite easy to farm when you're going for the higher difficulty fortune events, so you can buy them like that. And they do provide quite a lot of experience for your cards as well. As far as quests are concerned, you know, the daily quests are very easy to do. They take almost no time at all. There's also the limited quests, which I have none to do, so I can't really talk about that, but obviously they're not too hard either, and I think it lasts 2 weeks. So just try and do those. There are some good rewards in there. Normal endeavors are basically just like game-wide achievements. You know, you'll just get those as you go along. And then special ones you can buy. We can talk about the shop a little bit as well, even though, like I said, I've spent $8 in the beginner pack yesterday, because I did find that to be a very good value. Once you're much later on, you can consider buying the 30-day pack for Gather Wings and Stamina, because at the moment I can't burn through my Stamina or Gather Wings fast enough before I level up, and I don't think you will be able to either until you're a much higher level. The 30-day pack you can actually buy with just 500 of these Diamantium, so I'm definitely going to consider doing that once I would be at a high enough level where I am out of Stamina and Gather Wings, because you do get 106 every day for 30 days. The welcome pack is a bit more expensive. I have no idea why it says error there. I think it's like $25, but you do get a guaranteed 5-star, so that is something to consider. So we can also talk about Wormite a bit. This is the premium but not so premium currency as the Diamantium. It can be used for mostly the same things. There are a few things you can only buy with Diamantium, mostly in the shop, but there's also like a special summon thing for it. Regardless, Wormite is what you're going to be wanting to focus on, and going through the story will get you a lot. I believe you get 20 or 25 per stage if you complete all the objectives, as well as another 25 just for looking at the story, so pretty cool. And I think that's the main draw of story mode, besides the story, of course. And of course, going through the story, you do unlock other things, so it is good to go through it. Doing co-op will get you a massive amount of Wormite very quickly. There is a limit to that. I think maybe 100 different players, but I think they each give you 50 or so. So it's like 5,000 just from doing co-op. The numbers there may definitely be off because I wasn't actually documenting it or anything. I know I got a massive amount from doing co-op battles and playing with new players. Another way to get some quick Wormite is by looking at adventurer stories and dragon stories. For each new one you watch, and there is a lot of them, it's just kind of a grind if you don't really want to read all the story. But just as a little example, we'll go to Ellis-san here. I mean, granted, the little stories are kind of interesting, but gotta keep raising my team. But yes, as you can see, you get a bit of Wormite from reading the stories as well. So if you just need a little bit more for like another tin pull or whatever, then that's a good option. So as far as actually using your Stamina and Gatherings and where to do such things, again, let me reiterate that you should do every place until you get the daily bonuses, regardless if you need this stuff or not, because it is just extra stuff. After that, it really depends on what you need. You can never go wrong going with some elemental ruins, because you'll need so many of those orbs anyway. So when you don't need gold for something specific, the Avenue of Power is also good. I've been running it a lot. It does take a lot of crystals to raise your heroes after a while, so it becomes less sort of effective for your stamina. So it's all a bit of a balancing act. Just take it slow and make sure you know what you need before mindlessly spamming anything, because that's how you waste resources. Again, it's also important to reiterate that try and never have more than like 45 of these gather wings. Just start doing only co-op when you get to that point. Because again, once you hit 50, you start to waste them. But when you are at a low amount, like I am right now, only 21, then you should start using your overflowing stamina instead. Because once you get down to under 45 in my case, you can start to get free stamina with time. But yeah, I guess that'll pretty much do it for the little beginner guide here. I hope there was at least one or two maybe little tips that you didn't know before, or you're a super beginner and this is just a good little heads up or head start or whatever to your journey. But yeah, I'm sure there are a few other little things floating around that may be important, but those are pretty much all the things I can think of right now. If you have any of your own tips or suggestions, you can drop them down in the comments below. If I see a really good comment with a lot of tips, I'm gonna pin it to the top of this video. So scroll down to the comments. I'll be pinning the best one. And yeah, make sure to leave a like if you happen to enjoy as well. It's always greatly appreciated. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.